is symbol for off, vertical line is symbol for on. So if we're going to turn this on, so there. So if we can see all our zeros there, so that would indicate that the machine is functional. Yeah. Alright. So here, we have this carrying frequency, carrying wave frequency. So you're being asked to select whether you're going to use 2 kilohertz or unit kilohertz or 4 kilohertz. So when you say 2 kilohertz, that is equal to 2000 hertz. 4 kilohertz is equal to 4000 hertz. So in selecting for this, you can now choose one of the medium frequency current. As we mentioned, in IFC, interferential therapy or current, there will be 2 medium frequency current. So here, if you're going to adjust this one, that means that you already have adjusted one of the medium frequency current. So with regards to selecting for this, if ever for pain relief, you choose 4 kilohertz. If ever for muscle stimulation, muscle contraction, you have to use 2 kilohertz. The lesser the frequency there, the more must stimulate ang muscle. Okay, so again, pain relief is 4 kilohertz. Then for muscle stimulation, contraction, so 2 kilohertz. Okay, so na-adjust na ito sa medium frequency current. The next thing to do is to adjust for the other medium frequency current. Right. So how to adjust that? So with these two knobs, you can see there that the unit there is in terms of hertz. So therefore, this is frequency. So here in this knob there, this is now the bit frequency or the amplitude modulation frequency. So mo na niya resultant frequency that you're adjusting. So yung i-adjust. So that if ever, let's say, you place this value to 60 hertz, that would indicate that if ever this is 4 kilohertz, that would indicate that the other medium frequency current is 4060 hertz. Kaya ang imuhang bit frequency or your EMF or resultant frequency is the difference between the two medium frequency current and different na lang. So, muna siya, if you place this to 4000 hertz, which is one of the medium frequency current, na mo ni-adjust to 60. So, sabi na, the other medium frequency current is 4060 hertz. Okay. If you place this to, if you place this to 2 kilohertz or 2000 hertz, so if ever you place it 60, so sabi na, the other medium frequency current is 2060 hertz. Yeah? Okay. So there. So now, as I have mentioned, you're going to adjust now the other medium frequency current. Okay. So the question now is, what are those values that you're going to adjust for your bit frequency or your AMF? Okay, one of the source there, I have mentioned there's a lecture. You have the several values there of having the bit frequency there or your amplitude modulation frequency. You mentioned like 90 to 100 hertz constant, 1 to 10 hertz constant, 1 to 10 hertz rhythmic, 90 to 100, etc. So pwede ninyo ito as a source of your values there in selecting the AMF. Pwede set other sources if you have read certain research or articles there wherein it's stated that this is more the frequency that is effective to treat this condition, pwede sa Japan. If ever in case you cannot memorize, mo ka memorize or kung i-mention na sa lecture or wala may source. So other ways of selecting the value here is based on the stage of lesion. So what are the stages of lesion that you have learned? So you have acute, subacute, or chronic. Okay. So with regards to the stage of lesion, usually in acute conditions, we prescribe, since acute naman siya, bago pa siya happen, so it's really painful on the parts of the sakit siya. So therefore, if we're going to provide a stimulus there, we have to provide a less aggressive. Okay, basta acute sakit mo yan. Bago pa kaya ni-happen ang injury or what, sakit ka kaya niya siya, di ba? So that's why, if we're going to prescribe something there or treat that condition, especially pain, less aggressive mo i-prescribe or di kaya more magka-encounter discomfort on the parts of patient. If ever your condition is getting towards chronic or further subacute, so your stimulus there should be more aggressive for the reason that as time goes by, tendency that the patient will be more adapted to the sensation of pain. So makadugay gani mo, or makag-ma-adapt or maka. So therefore, you have to give a stimulus that is more aggressive so that you can really mask that or cover up the pain there. So when I said during chronic, it should be more aggressive. Okay, in relation to the frequency, take note that if the frequency is higher or greater, it's more comfortable or less aggressive ay mo stimulus. Kung the frequency high. Muna siya, if we're going to compare dynamics with regards to IFC, mas comfortable IFC can medium. Or even tense, comparing to IFC, you'd expect more comfortable ang IFC. Kaya medium naman siya, higher frequency. So, again, if ever the frequency is higher or greater, less aggressive siya or more comfortable. If ever the frequency is lesser or lower, then it's more aggressive, okay? Or more So, when siya, during acute conditions, we usually prescribe greater frequencies during acute conditions. Right? Because aggressive, more comfortable. And during chronic na siya, pag na chronic, so we tend to further reduce the frequency for a more aggressive. So that will be your clue with regards to that aspect. So now, if as I already have mentioned, we can select the values. There's AMF or set the values sa AMF based on the stages of lesion. So, like here, if we're going to look at here, you have values from 0 to 150, diba? So, we can divide this into 3. We can divide into 3. So, from 1 to 50, and then another one is 51 to 100, and another range is 101 to 150. So, therefore, you can have, like, if ever it's acute pang condition, so you can choose values there sa AMF might be between 101 to 150. Ano yung choose? Okay, more less aggressive or more comfortable. If ever your condition is early chronic, so you can choose between values from 1 to 50. Okay, more aggressive. Okay, that's how you're going to probably estimate the values for your AMF based on the stages of lesion. Here, kung makalimot mo ba o may source ba o siya yung value ibutang for that condition, pwede na yun yung based sa stages. Sure, di ko value mo asa na siya na stage. So you're going to ask me, sir, when did this happen? How long? Cover na siya. Yeah. Okay. So here, with regards to this adjusting this frequency, take note that with regards to the frequency there, pwede ninyo nga ang frequency is constant wherein it would remain the same value. Pwede sad ang frequency mo vary, mo change from time to time. So if ever is constant yan siya, fixed siya, so dili mo ma-adjust if ever. So if ever you encounter the word 1 to 10 hertz constant, so you just choose values there between 1 to 10. And when you choose that, for example, 7 Hertz, so it would always remain 7 Hertz in frequency and constant. If you have those values mentioning like 1 to 100 Hertz constant, just choose values there between 1 to 100. And whatever you choose will remain constant in a short change. So, dahil yung adjust. Okay. With regards to this knob also, if ever you're going to vary your frequency. Kung vary yung frequency, this knob will serve as to adjust for the base frequency. So when you say base frequency, that is the starting frequency. So kung vary na ganyan yung frequency, now you can starting a frequency, then another frequency. Yeah. So money siya i-adjust for your base frequency or your starting. Okay. So there. Any question at the moment on this part? Okay, let's proceed to this one. Okay, this is your shift frequency or spectrum frequency. So here, once you adjust for this one, kung inyo ni-set to 0, dito na, kung 0 ganini siyang shift or spectrum frequency, your frequency will not vary. Hindi siya mag-vary. So if ever you place this to 6 to 50, niya 0 gani siya, so always 50 Hz with a frequency. But once you adjust your shift frequency or spectrum frequency, you expect that the frequency now will vary. Vary na siya if you adjust this one. Okay. So here, once you adjust this one, meron siyang mo-add sa imong frequency by the times that mo vary siya. So that if ever, let's say, you place this to 30, so pasabot na in this setting, your base frequency or your starting frequency is 50, then it will further move to other frequency reaching to 80 Hz. Imong i-add. So mag-start is at 50, 51, 52, 53, 54 until it reaches 80. And from 80 na, balik na siya going back to 50, 79, 78, etc. up to going back again to 50. So money siya, this will be your base or starting frequency, and this would adjust pila siya further move add sa imong frequency. Here. Okay. So here, if ever you encounter the term rhythmic, like atong lecture, like 90 to 10 Hz rhythmic, 90 to 100 Hz rhythmic. So how to set that if ever you choose that 90 to 100? So therefore, you place this to 90, which is your base frequency or starting frequency, and then the shift frequency or spectrum frequency, you place that to 10. So therefore, because sa 90, further mo go up siya to 10. So may siya makareach sa 100. So may siya 90 to 100. If ever, let's say, you have 1 to 100 Hz rhythmic, basta nag-rhythmic ka, rhythm na change. So, how would you adjust that if 1 to 100? So, you place this to 1, ay mong base frequency starting, and your shift frequency or spectrum frequency would be 99. Okay, so, muna siya, bilang tag 1 Hz, mupadon na siya to 100 Hz. Okay, so may siya 1 to 100 Hz rhythmic or, yeah. Okay, if ever, let's say, you forget those values there, say condition or perhaps wala mo source or say frequency, how it reaches the frequency there. So, pwede rin Japan niya i-base sa stages of lesion. Katong acute, subacute, or chronic. The same Japan here, if you're going to look at here, you have 0 to 100 Hz, diba? So, pwede Japan na niya i-divide into 3. You can have 1 to 33. Another there, range would be 33 to 60, perhaps another is 60 to 100. Pwede na yung divide by 3. The same Japan, if ever is still acute, so you can further choose higher spectrum frequency. If ever is chronic, so lesser spectrum frequency or shift frequency. Okay? So again, here, with regards to the frequency, it's up to your discretion as therapist or kamura mo decide whether you're going to have a frequency that is constant or mo vary. Naragyan ninyo. Wala kayo yung mga researchers stating which is more effective, kato ba mo vary or not. But it's up to you to decide. Kamura yung mga So, why probably some therapists would vary the frequency for a certain reason? One reason is that they want to minimize accommodation. By changing the frequency or stimulus from time to time, usually the structure will not adapt that much. So, mana siya, mas mo-minimize accommodation or adaptation if you tend to vary the frequency. Another reason why they vary the frequency is that there are certain structures that will just respond to a specific frequency. And then, we don't know at which frequency. So, mano siya, there are some that will tend to vary nila the frequency so that if ever might the frequency range there na inigvary niya can target the frequency wherein the structure will respond. Ito kong i-mention na kung imong ipa-vary bang frequency magdaganagan, so might ma-target niya sa itong frequency ang ma-stimulate siya. So those are some of the reasons why they tend to vary the frequency. So again, it's up to you to decide whether you have a constant frequency or more varying frequency. Okay, so if we're going to add this one, your big frequency, your frequency there or EMF or your big frequency can reach kung imo ni full kung imo ni siya 150, kanya siya imo 100, it can really further can reach up to a maximum of 250 hertz. 250 hertz. Okay. So, mano siya yung happen. If ever like mo vary mo frequency, again, let's just say you have 80 here, then you have 30 here. So, you not expect that the other medium frequency card, like for example, you place this to 40 hertz, 4,000. So, you not expect that the other medium frequency here would vary from 4,080 hertz up to 4,110 hertz. Kung yung i-analyze. Kung yung nga ipag-adjust, so you na expect that the other medium frequency current would vary from 4,080 hertz to 4,110 hertz kung 80 of 30. Okay? So there, any questions? Okay. So next, this one. This is your spectrum program. So we adjust this one if ever your sweep frequency or spectrum frequency is not 0. So kung vary good ang frequency, you have to adjust this one. But if ever your sweep frequency is 0, so wala yung variation sa frequency, so you don't need to adjust this anymore. Wala na siya gamit. Kaya gamit na siya if vary ang frequency. So in regards to spectrum program, the function there is to really regulate the way na mo vary sa frequency. However, how abrupt, how fast siya mo change ang iyang frequency. So in this modality, you have 3 spectrum program. For these 2, we have 6 spectrum programs. So depending sa modality. Okay. So there. So we're going to discuss this first. So we have these 3. So if we're going to have this on the leftmost, we have their value 1:1, and then the symbol there is more rectangular. So we're going up and straight. So what does 1:1 stands for? Okay, mo ni siya. With regards to 1:1, like for example, we have a frequency that will vary from 90 to 120 hertz. So kung may 1 over 1, rectangular, so may siya happen. So from 90 hertz, which is your starting frequency, base frequency, it will go up to 120 hertz for abruptly. Like siya mag-change to 120. Once it reaches a 120 hertz, it will stay there for 1 second. After that, it goes back to 90 hertz, then stay there sa 90 hertz for 1 second. After that, it goes up again to 120 hertz and stay there for 1 second. So, mali siya na 1, 1. And the symbol is more rectangular. Here. If ever your spectrum program is abrupt variation or palit ang changes, we usually expect that the stimulus is more aggressive. Tapos huwag ngayon siya pas-pas ang iyang kuhan, aggressive na siya. Okay. So, therefore, we would expect this is really aggressive. So, we prescribe this during chronic condition. Okay siya. The next here, this one at the center. This is 6/6 and we call usually trapezoidal. Paana man siya ni paana na 6/6. So what's the 6/6 stands for? Okay. So again, from 90 Hz, it goes up to your 120 Hz for 1 second. And then it will stay there sa 120 Hz for 5 seconds. After that, it goes back to your 90 Hz for 1 second. And it will stay there sa 90 Hz for 5 seconds. So kung imong add 1 plus 5 is 6. Ayan siya na 6. So kung compare nato with regards to your 1 rectangular, your 6/6 trapezoidal is less aggressive. For the reason na ang pag-change from 90 to 120 is 1 second. Kaya abrupt na probably less than 1 second, so more aggressive. And then, pag-stay niya to one frequency, this one is 1 second, this is 5 seconds. So, mas dugay pa siya mo stay. Kaya siya, dali kaya siya mo stay 1 second, change tayo. So, mas dali ang changes here as compared to 6/6 trapezoidal. Ano siya? This is less aggressive as compared to 1/1. So therefore, we usually prescribe this during subacute condition. Yeah. Okay, next, on the rightmost, we have 6/6 here. So you have your 6/6 triangular. Paano siya? So here is 6/6 triangular. You have here from 90 Hz. It changes its frequency to 120 Hz for 6 seconds. And from 120 Hz, it further goes back to 90 Hz for another 6 seconds. So that's why 6/6 siya. Right. So therefore, if we're going to compare the 6/6 triangular with trapezoidal, there is a greater duration here na mag-change. So therefore, T9 ayan change here as compared to 1 second. So therefore, comparing these two, this is less aggressive as compared to your 6/6 trapezoidal. So less aggressive siya kay ganito. So therefore, we usually prescribe this during acute condition. So kung tanaan niyo mo, is the least aggressive na spectral program is the most aggressive. Okay? So may siya use this for acute. Question so far, 9.